Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video, we're going to be listing the 15 mods that you can do for $500 and under. So you may have seen my previous video, which was 15 mods for the Evo 10 Ralliart, which were $100 and under. So this one will be the second part for that one, so between $1 and $500. I'll put a link in the description for the previous video. Make sure you check that one out, as there's a few things you can do for $100 and under, but unfortunately there's not much you can do performance wise. So in this one there'll be a lot more performance based mods. Some of them unfortunately you can't fit until you are getting a tune, but it's a good way to sort of see what you need to stock up on before heading off to get your car tuned. So yeah, there'll be a link in the description for every product that I recommend. I'll try and put a few alternatives, and I'll try and put a few that fit Ralliarts and Evo 10s, as I know I have owners of both that watch the channel. So yeah, with that said, let's get into the list. Okay, so for number one, we'll start off with some weather shields. Now, I know you can get these for well under $100. The reason I didn't put it in my previous video is that what I want to recommend is getting the OEM Mitsubishi weather shields. So these ones are actually made by Mitsubishi. They actually fit properly, unlike some of the generic ones you can get on eBay. And they have clips that hold them in place. So as well as being stuck on by double-sided tape, they have clips. So they're definitely on there for good. The reason I really like these, I know some people don't like the look. The reason I do, I like the look of them. I think they look aggressive, sort of match the lines of the car well. But also I like to always drive with my windows down. So when it's raining, you can actually drive with your windows down just a little bit, stop your car fogging up. But yeah, so these ones are around $180 in Australia. And I have a link to those in the description, so definitely check them out. Okay, so for number two, it is the front lip. Now, on my car I have the OEM Aero lip kit. It actually is a complete body kit that you can add on, so side skirts and rear spats or aprons. So yeah, my one is from Mitsubishi, but there is plenty others out there. So in the description you'll find I have put a link on eBay to this Aero front lip that I have. They are in either red or silver, so if you have an Evo 10 in red or silver, then you can luckily just buy it and fit it. If you have an Evo with another colour, then yeah, you can just still buy it. It's a very great price. There's not many of them left, so you could just buy it, get it painted and fit it up. If you're not into the look of the Aero kit, there's many other types. There's this Verus carbon fibre style one. Now, not a genuine Verus lip, because that's going to be well over the $500 limit, but there's a replica that I've put a link to. You can also get the Ralliart style replica one for under $500. And if you're not into lips, but you're more like the splitter, then there's some splitters that I've put, and I've also put a splitter for a Ralliart in the description. But yeah, I feel like a front lip is definitely something that's needed on both the Evo 10 and Ralliart, as it really changes the look of the car, adds a little bit more to the lines, and yeah, so that's a must-have. So we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we have these carbon fibre pillars. Now these are a stick-on carbon piece. It will come in a kit with 6, so 2 for the middle and 1 for the back. The reason I like these is, when you start putting a few carbon pieces on your car, it's good to sort of flow them all together. So this is something for the middle of the car that's carbon that will match the front and the back. But secondly, because the finish the Mitsubishi actually have on the pillars, it's really bad for fading and getting dirty and handprints and everything. So mine I tried to sort of polish up and have looking its best, but it just always faded again. So I put these carbon ones on, and I really like the look of them. So these are around $180. You can get them cheaper on eBay, and definitely recommend getting these on before you put weather shields on. Okay, so next up we have the side skirts. So like I said previously, I have the Aero kit, so that includes the Aero side skirts. My car being a 2008 Evo, it actually had the really small side skirts they had on the earlier models. If you have the, I think it's 2011 up Evo, then you have the newer model side skirt. Those aren't so bad, but if you have the earlier ones, they're really small. They don't really suit the rest of the body lines of the car in my mind. So the Aero is a massive improvement. I've also got a link to these on a eBay seller. The same as the front lip, they're in red or silver. They're $400. So you can buy both together, and if you have either red or silver, throw them straight on. If not, get them painted, like I said, for the lip. And if you have a Ralliart or you have the later model side skirts and you just want to add a splitter, I've also got a link to a Flow Designs sort of side skirt extension. So yeah, there's definitely plenty you can do to sort of change the side skirt area of the car. Alright, so lastly for the Aero kit is the rear pods, or spats, or aprons, whatever you like to call them. So yeah, these are an add-on for the rear bumper in the corner there. They match really well, obviously, with the Aero kit. But if you're not going for the Aero kit look, or you're not a fan of these ones, there is a few other options, such as some carbon fibre add-ons for the rear. There's also a whole sort of diffuser add-on you can get. And if you have a Ralliart and you're looking for something for the rear, also have a link below for a Ralliart diffuser add-on. So definitely check that out, as there is quite a few options to change the rear bumper of either the Ralliart or Evo 10. Okay, so back up to the front of the car now. So now we're looking at the carbon fibre scoop and vents for the bonnet or hood. Now there's a few different types of these you can get. I just got these vents fitted a couple of days ago. Fitment isn't perfect on some, so mine aren't the best. I'm going to work around that a bit. But these are like an OEM style vent, but in carbon fibre. So they're a bit lighter. They look nice. And you can also get a few other styles. Also, we have the hood scoop. So this one is carbon fibre, and it's actually raised a little bit more than the stock hood scoop. So yeah, you can get sort of all of this together for about $500. Just sort of shop around. Fitment is a bit of an issue, so you can get the raised style, the flat style, and the benefit being that it allows a little bit more air in, and you can see the strut bar through there. So yeah, I have linked on eBay and a performance shop in Australia where you can get the vents, and on eBay for the scoop. So yeah, check those out in the description. Alright, so the last thing on the exterior of the car is down the front here we have these Foglight Delete Kits. Now if you have the SST Evo 10, this is definitely a part that you should have, as the SST cooler is actually behind the Foglight. It's on the other side of the car from where I am at the moment, but it is actually blocked in part by factory Foglight. So as soon as you remove these, as well as saving a bit of weight off the front of the car, and looking a bit nicer in my mind, it does help cool the SST down. So yeah, these are a must-have in my mind, and being a OEM Mitsubishi part, they fit perfectly, and the mesh on them actually matches the rest of the mesh at the front of the car, and they're only around $200. So yep, definitely recommend this one. Make sure you check the link out on these. Alright, so next up, and this is our only interior item for the video, is the Android head unit. So this is something that my car really needed. Originally my car didn't have a touchscreen at all, it just had the blank sort of radio, which didn't have Bluetooth. Bluetooth was only for phone calls, so yeah, it was quite annoying without it. Upgraded to this one, as I really liked the idea of being able to download apps. So yeah, like you've seen in the previous video, I have the Talk Pro app, which allows me to put any gauges I want up on the screen, revs, speed, boost, which isn't that accurate, throttle, and sort of intake, coolant temps, a few others. So yeah, this is a must in my mind. Mine I actually paid a little bit over 500 as I bought from an Australian seller, but you can get these a lot cheaper on eBay if you're willing to risk just sort of buying it from China and hoping that it all works well. But yeah, these are a must. There's also the option of getting something like a Sony or a Kenwood, not going Android. But I like the ability to be able to use Waze, any other app that you want to download, and the Talk Pro. So yeah, there's 2 links for these in the description that are under 500, and also a link to the one that I have from Drive Performance Parts, which is slightly over 500. Okay, now moving on to the performance side of things, which is what was lacking in the previous video for mods under $100. Now we're at the $500 range. There's a lot more you can do. So yeah, we'll start off with the upper intercooler piping. One of the first mods I did to my car made it sort of spool a lot nicer, sound a lot nicer, and it's cheap and easy to do. Doesn't require a retune, and I will try and do an install video on some upper intercooler piping soon on a friend's car. But yeah, so these can range from about $280, I think was the cheapest I found that I've linked, to up well over 500 if you want something crazy. But yeah, you can get lots of different types: powder coated, polished, titanium. But yeah, definitely a must have in my mind, and I have linked quite a few different styles down below in the description. Okay, so now we're moving on to the intake. There is quite a few different intakes you can get for the Evo 10. Less for the Ralliart. You can go the AEM for the Ralliart and the Evo 10, or you can go custom, obviously, for both. But for the Ralliart, I think those are your only 2 main options. For the Evo 10, there's also the ETS, AMS, K&N. It's quite a few different ones you can get. But one thing I'll let you know is that you can just upgrade the intake piping at the back there. So mine is an aluminium one, and it actually will plug into the stock airbox if you want to keep that and just go with the high flow panel filter. So I've put a few different links to intake pipes that you can get. And if you want to go with the whole intake, then I've got a few links to those. Mine is actually part AEM intake, because that's what the MAF housing is, and part Plasma Man intake piping. So it's a bit of a Frankenstein intake, but yeah, I'll put a link to a few different intakes below for both Ralliart and Evo 10. So one thing I will let you know though is this is a part that if you change, you will need to tune your car. This is something that you can buy, sit aside, and with a few other parts we're recommending today, and wait to fit them once you're actually getting the car tuned. But yeah, definitely a big difference in the sound that your car will make. Not a whole lot of performance, as the stock airbox is actually pretty good, but I really wanted the turbo sound, so I've gone with a intake setup. Alright, so now it's a mod I can't really show you. It's not the catback exhaust, as that will be in the next video, which will be the sort of $1,000 or however I'll be doing it. But yeah, unfortunately the catback exhaust, unless you buy used, there isn't much you can get for 500. But so instead we're talking about the cat itself, the high flow cat or the test pipe. What I have in my car is the AK Racing 1-cell cat, so it's basically a test pipe. But yeah, this is a part that will also need a retune, but is very important for your car. The stock one's very heavy and very restrictive. So these are ranging from about 280 to 500 if you want titanium. But yeah, definitely a must-have. So will require a retune, like I said, but we'll also move on to the other part that it actually connects to, which is the downpipe or dump pipe. So I've only found one that is actually $500 in Australia. It's actually the one that I run. But yeah, so this is another part that will require a retune, and it'll connect up to your cat from your turbo. So yep, $500 for this. Grab it, put it aside with your intake and your cat, get it all fitted up when you're getting tuned, and it will make your car make a lot more power, sound a lot better, and gets rid of the restrictive heavy factory system. Alright, so now we have something easier that doesn't require a retune, easy to install and cheap, and that is the blow-off valve or diverter valve, whatever you like to call it. Mine is the TurboSmart Compact Plumback Blow-Off Valve. It's only about $170 Australian, one of the cheaper ones you can get, and it's definitely my favourite. Myself and quite a few friends run these. They make a nice flutter sound when backing off at low boost. But yeah, if you have an SST, you definitely want to run a plumback style. You don't want to run something that the manual guys can run with a big trumpet on it. So yeah, those I have linked below. If you have a manual Evo, go for it. I prefer the sound this one makes anyway. But yeah, so I've got a few different linked below. Whether you have a manual or an SST, you can choose what you'd prefer. But yeah, I've got some TurboSmart ones and some GFB ones linked below. So try and see what you like the sound of. I did make a video previously on the sound comparing this TurboSmart one, the GFB equivalent, and the stock Evo 10 blow-off valve. So yeah, these are an easy to install part, take a couple of minutes, will change the sound of your car and do not require a retune. So yeah, definitely check these ones out. Okay, so now we have the 3-port solenoid. So this is a must-have when it comes to tuning the car. Your tuner will definitely want you to have one of these. Allows them to change the boost levels at certain RPMs, add more boost to the car, and whatever else they would like to do. So this will replace the factory one. Mine is the Cobb, which is what my tuner recommended. Right, I got my car tuned previously. But there's a few different brands. These are around $200 and they're definitely a must-have when it comes time to tune. So another part to buy and sit aside and get ready for when your car is actually getting tuned. So I have a link to a few different brands down below. But yeah, these are a must-have and yeah, definitely a cheap mod. Okay, so now is unfortunately a part that I don't have installed at the moment. I do have it sitting at home and it is a catch can. So I bought the radium catch can. It actually sits down here, bolts into this headlight bracket, and sits down in this gap. Unfortunately, when it arrived, it was missing the bracket that actually holds it in place. So yeah, don't have that one in today, but it's definitely a must-have. No idea why I haven't bought one sooner. But yeah, to bolt down here, and I just bought the PCV catch can. There's lots of different ones you can buy. The most popular seems to be the Driven Fab. I did want one of those originally. It's like a coolant overflow tank replacement, so it replaces your coolant overflow bottle. But yeah, those seem to be really hard to get and are very expensive. But yeah, every turbo car should have a catch can. So yep, I should have had one a long time ago. Finally getting onto it. But yeah, unfortunately don't have that one installed. We will have an install video on that coming soon. So keep an eye out for that. And so lastly, we're moving on to something that isn't going to make your car faster. It does look great, but it's more to protect your car, and that is heat shields. So I run the full line of Evolution X design heat shields. You saw a previous video where I installed the firewall heat shield at the back there. And yeah, these are all made by Evolution X Design. It's a local Australian company, and the owner of this company actually lives in Brisbane, also owns an Evo 10, which is a very nice Evo 10, which I'll try and show on the channel soon when he gets his engine built. But yeah, so he designs and makes these heat shields. So there is a full range, everything you need to protect your car. We'll start off with the tubular manifold heat deflector that I have here. So once you go to a tubular manifold, you'll soon realize there's a lot more heat coming to the back of your engine here. So this will actually deflect the heat away, and then you also have the firewall heat shield at the back, which is much larger and nicer looking than the factory. Also have a brake reservoir heat shield. So I've heard horror stories about that bottle back there melting. So this one looks nice and protects that. Also makes the cam and MyVec heat shields that go down either side of the manifold. So you don't want to melt those sensors back there. So those are definitely a must-have. And then we also have this intake heat shield. This is actually a prototype still. I'm not sure when this one will be for sale, but this one is a must-have. So hopefully Scott's getting on to releasing these soon. But yeah, this one's really well made, really lightweight, and bolts into the factory locations. Actually allows air to come through the factory snorkel into your pod filter. So yeah, this one isn't for sale yet as far as I know, but hopefully soon. Keep an eye out on AK Racing's website as they stock all of the Evolution X design heat shields, and I highly recommend them. They bolt in like their factory items, they look great, and they do the job well. Okay, so that is the end of the list. Now, I'm not going to say it's the best things you can do to your car. It's just 15 or so things that I've done to my car that I think make a difference. So if you have anything that you think would be a better mod that's $500 and under, or you have a recommendation for a part that I've talked about that you think's better, please link it below, put a comment, let me know what I've missed and what you would do instead. I'd love to hear some more ideas, and I'm always looking for more things to do to my car, so if you've got any recommendations, then let me know. If you have a Ralliart, unfortunately not all of the parts that I talked about will fit your car, but I did try my best to put a few parts that will fit where I could. But yeah, so that will be the end of the video there, guys. I really hope you enjoyed and found it helpful. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to make 2 videos every week that will be based around the Evo 10 and Ralliart platform. So if you want to see more, make sure you check out my previous videos, and yeah, subscribe to see what else I come out with in the future. So yeah, I'll end the video there. Thanks heaps for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.